Hello, good morning. Phil Rockdenny here with Lori from Yagi, and we're going to go through a short PowerPoint in regards to Geogames, the international liner competition. So basically, we'll be going through the rules and everything. This is the third Geogames. We had one in Houston, we had one in Kansas City, and the next one will be in Toronto on April 29th, 2024. So again, I'm Phil Rock Denis. I'm the founder, co-founder of GeoGames. So is Lori. Lori has been helping with GeoGames since the beginning. And I'll just, without further ado, we'll start the presentation. So basically, this is a competition that we want to showcase the installers, obviously our members at Yagi. We want to promote installation quality. So, but in a fun, in a fun context. So we will be doing this in showcasing this on April 2024. All right. So basically, GeoGames 2024 will be sponsored by Agru, and the primary purpose of the GeoGames is to highlight the professionalism and the importance that the installers and the welding technicians play in the installation of geosynthetic materials. So pretty much what I just said, but basically, yeah, we really wanna put the focus on who's doing the installing, because we always talk about the manufacturers, the materials, the engineering, the design, but as you know, if the installation isn't done right as per Yagi procedures, well, all bets are off. So basically, GeoGames, as I mentioned, is a competition. So teams will need to skillfully and quickly wedge weld 5 panels, air test the seams, and repair cross seams with extrusion welding. The entire competition will film their performance and send the videotape before February 15th. So basically, you have to send us your performance by February 15th. We'll go over everything you have to send us. That will be video footage. The GeoGame presentation will be held at GeoAmerica's conference on April 29, 2024. So basically, you send us the footage and we will compile all the performance results, video footage, and we will present this as a package in Toronto. So let's go right into what you need to do if you want to compete. You must be a member of Yagi. You need to elect 2 technicians, 2 members, and you have to choose whether you want to use LL or HDPE, and we want you to use either 1 or 1.5 millimeters. And this is just to make sure that everybody can participate. Most companies, I mean, I would say every company should have access to either or LL or HDPE at these thicknesses. So you can choose the one you want. And then you will need your wedge welder, you will need your extrusion gun, obviously, and your quality control kit. We will go over everything. You will need a proctor, which will monitor the competition, your performance, your live performance. Team needs to hire a local proctor who will monitor the team's performances. The proctor will especially look out for validity of the wedge welds with air testing, the size and positioning of the patches, the validity of the extrusion welds with a V-Box, and destruction testing of wedge welds and extrusion welds. Due to limited space, only the best teams will be showcased in the competition. However, each company is encouraged to send in multiple teams and entries. So typically, we would, I think that every company sending in their footage will be represented. But if a company send multiple entries, this is where we will probably elect your best team that any given company send us. With that said, we don't know if there's 100. If we receive 100 footage from 100 companies, unfortunately, we would have to restrict it to less companies than that in the video footage. But with that said, in the past GeoGames, we had 9 teams. Some of which were from the same company. But with that said, you get to record your performance as many times as you want, but it needs to be continuous footage. The proctor needs to be there. So here is what you will have to weld. All player must be wearing proper PPE. that will a little more detail on this a little later. Prior to the start of wedge welding, the teams position their panels exactly as shown in the panel layout drawing that you see right there. They calibrate their machines, leave them on, and position them where they want inside the layout. So you calibrate your machine, you tweak everything, you put it in the layout. At this time, teams are allowed to cut out the patches that will be required for the repairs as well. So you look at that layout, you pre-cut your patch, and you leave this on the layout. The timer hasn't started yet. You can see right there what we require for filming. So basically, we need the camera placed as shown in the drawing below. The main camera must be placed 10 feet from the bottom right corner and 7 to 8 feet in the air as shown in the picture below. You can use your phone. The main camera must be fixed and film in landscape mode. So that's very important. And the feed of the main camera must be continuous. Any tampering of the main feed will get a team automatically disqualified, obviously. Once ready, the players need to wait outside of the layout just beside the camera. Proctor counts down 3, 2, 1 before the team can enter the layout. Proctor then starts chrono, the stopwatch, once the team enters the layout. So as mentioned, everything is prepared. I mean, the patches are pre-cut, the machines are calibrated, everything is there. Team is outside the layout. Proctor counts 3, 2, 1, boom. Then the timer starts. The competition starts. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for this 2024 Geogames, Megaplast, Solmax, as well as Watershed Geo, and Viaflex. Let the competition begin. So once all wedge welds have been validated by proper air testing, the team can move on to repairs. The team can't move on to repairs unless all air tests pass, which will be confirmed by Proctor. So this is very important. Basically, you cannot move on to repairs at all on anything about repairs until all your air tests have been validated by the Proctor. A simple oral confirmation with the Proctor is sufficient. Just make sure, like on the job site, you say Proctor, hey, 5 minutes or 5 minutes, you take out your clamp. The team then needs to repair and seal their cross seams with extrusion welds patches. Once all repairs have been achieved, the team needs to leave the layout. The Proctor then stops the chrono. The Proctor then conducts V-Bucks testing on repairs and applies applicable penalties. So we will go in detail into all the procedure, the penalties, so that everything is clear. As always, if you have any questions, I'll be repeating this throughout the video, but don't hesitate. You can reach us at Yagi's email or me directly, or however way you want. Let's go in details. Just mentioning that any DT failure will result in automatic disqualification. So the Proctor, after the chrono has been stopped, will conduct DT testing on wedge weld and one extrusion weld. And if you fail any DT, you will be disqualified. Other than that, the team with the overall lowest time wins. But here where it gets tricky, because there will be penalties applied if you don't follow everything we will discuss here. And this is pretty much the main the main reason we're doing these videos is that you understand exactly what you need to do and how you will be penalized if you don't follow this, which obviously all trickles down from Yagi. So wedge weld and air tests. Channels must be filled with air to 30 to 35 psi and must not sustain more than a loss of 4 psi over the course of 5 minutes. Should a competitor remove clamps before 5 minutes, a penalty of the balance time, so that's the difference between the time you take off the clamps and 5 minutes, plus 30 seconds will be added to that team's total. So you want to make sure that your air tests are done for the adequate 5 minutes. Yagi understands that typically there needs to be time for the pressure to reach equilibrium, 2 minutes, but for the purpose of the games, the 5 minutes will start as soon as the pressure has reached the desired PSI. So obviously, we do our homework, we read our Yagi. We know that usually you wait a little bit for equilibrium, but this little bit was hard to quantify. So basically, put your air in, let it give it a few seconds for it to calibrate. Start your air test chrono. The 5 minutes will start as soon as the pressure has reached the desired psi. Yeah, obviously, you need to be between 30 and 35 psi. Clamps must be removed from the other side of the manometer. Should clamps be removed on the same side, a penalty of 15 seconds will be added to the team's total. So obviously, you need to take off your clamps from the other side of where you put the air to make sure your full weld is tested and that the air goes out the other side. Obviously, if you choose to close your air canals with heating with a torch, you will need to cut the channel off to let the air out. Any leak in a wedge weld must be repaired and retested before moving forward. So if your air test doesn't hold, your air test is not valid. Same thing as on the job site. You will need to find the hole, do whatever you have to do to make sure that the integrity of that full weld is good and tested. Penalties on repairs. Teams must have all their air tests validated by the proctor before moving on to repairs. We mentioned that earlier. Should a team start repairs before air tests are validated, the balance time between start of their repairs until validation of air tests will be added to that team's total plus a penalty of 60 seconds. That means that we know that on the job site, some guys do the air test and another guy starts repairing before on another weld. That's normal. But for the sake of the competition, we separate the competition in phases. So you have to have all your air tests validated by the proctor, then you go on to repairs. Otherwise, as mentioned, we will add the time difference plus 60 seconds. Patches must extend at least 6 inches from the side of the defect as per Yagi procedure. Every patch that doesn't respect this criterion will add 30 seconds penalty to that team's total. So your patches will be measured by the proctor and you must respect the correct size. Once the team has finished all repairs and the chrono has been stopped by the proctor verifies all patches with a V-box. Leaks on any given patch will add a 60-second penalty. So obviously this is done, again, after your timer has ended. Then the proctor will take some time to do a bunch of tests. We'll do this V-box test on your repair as well as destructive testing, as we mentioned, on your wedge welds. Other types of penalties. Geogames reserves the right to apply 30-second penalties to clear safety violations or quality violations that do not follow the Yagi installation guidelines. Examples: throwing a knife onto the liner, not wearing any gloves, not grinding before extrusion welding, etc. Think of the job site. You're on the job site when you do this competition. You must be professional. We must showcase quality, safety, and just overall, good behavior on the liner. With one exception, with this year, we're gonna put the hard hat optional, and the reason is we want to showcase the guys. We want to see the guys' faces, and we understand that sometimes the hard hat can fall. So we will waive the hat for this year. Maybe it's the last year that we do this though. So take advantage and do your hairdo. Just kidding. Other than that, you will be required to have protective eyewear, glasses, your gloves, obviously your boots, protective footwear, and a safety vest. So your PPE, normal PPE, the hat you don't have to. But if you do, I personally will be very proud of you. Celebrate. We encourage teams to have other feeds, other cameras. These can consist of other people filming with their phones, also in landscape mode, please. So landscape, this is landscape. We want like this. And the cameras can move around, zoom in and out, film, close up, commentary, screaming. We want to see action. We want to see faces. So that means that you do need your main feed, which is fixed and disposed at at certain distance from the layout, as explained earlier. But you can send us any amount of additional feeds just for the sake of for us to make interesting instant replays or zoom in, zoom out, so you can have people, but they can't be on the layout. Please respect the competitors, respect the competition. Everyone stays outside the layout, but go ahead, go crazy, go around the layout, zoom in, zoom out. That will just make better footage for the competition overall. Geogames was initiated to profile the fantastic work geosynthetics installers do every day in the field. Please use all proper safety measures, PPE, and professional installation methods when undertaking this competition. So basically what I just said, but in proper English. We want our installers to shine on the world stage. Yep, that is the main goal of Geogames. With that said, again, any questions, please send them preferably to yagi@yagi.org. If ever you use another channel, we probably will send a newsletter with the questions that were asked and the answers to them. We just want to make sure that everything is crystal clear. We want this competition to everyone to understand the rules. We want as many people participating. It would be great to have installation companies from around the world. And since the competition is not live in front of our eyes, and you get to send us video footage, this is why it's possible. So there's no reason why any of our members, or rather, I keep it positive, we would really enjoy if all of our members would consider participating in this competition. And again, don't hesitate to contact me, Phil Denis, my co-founder, Vincent Mondou, or preferably directly Yagi. Email below for any question. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in Toronto in 2029. Thanks, Laurie.